we try to assimilate the meaning and thereby start to reflect also in our lives. Okay, I can do a Purascharana of, let's say, some lakhs of mantras, 125,000 or 500,000. Am I also reflecting on my actions? Am I a burden to the earth? The element earth, Muladhara Chakra, the element is earth. Swamiji had already shared yesterday how we can live in sync, live in harmony with earth, with nature. I can do Ganesha mantra, but I keep on polluting the earth. So I have become a burden on the earth. So how do I live? In which way I live my life so that I am not a burden to anyone? Otherwise, there is constant fights. People feel burdened. Somebody makes somebody feel burdened unnecessarily, or we have become a burden to someone. If that has happened, with the grace of Lord Ganesha, when we keep on observing and invoke this energy within us through the mantras that has been given, I'm sure that we are bound to see the results. Provided we reflect, we contemplate, and we try to put that in our actions. We may read about Ganesha, we may chant mantras, but if we lack sincerity, shraddha, devotion, we are not sure of what's the outcome, what's the result could be. Would be, of course, when it happens, some of the results will be there. But whether or not we get the desired result, that depends on what is my connection with this. And am I mindful in application of this? And the way I live my life, the way I live in such a way that I am not a burden, accordingly, slowly, the transformation will automatically happen within through the blessings of Lord Ganesh. The mantra, the Ganesha Gayatri mantra, there was some enthusiasm on, this is not a common mantra, because the common one is Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi. This Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe is probably may not be common, but this is from the Mahanarayan Upanishad. Mahanarayan Upanishad. So if anyone has any doubts that maybe it's not common how it is given, etc., we must also know that in the tradition of mantra science, it is always passed on. We don't create mantras. We are not seers, sages. It's already there. In that context, that form of Ganesha Gayatri, Swamiji has shared for us to practice. And as we move on through this 1 year, in between, we would see how we can organize something to go in depth into all these meanings. But for now, both whether we choose to do Om Gang Ganapate Namaha, or we choose to do the Ganesha Gayatri, or we choose to do both, so there are options, as Swamiji had explained last night. Whatever that we choose to do, what is our attitude towards that? I am now willing to establish a connection with divinity, with a divine force. The intention, the sankalpa, it was already shared yesterday. With what intention? What is it that I wish from this? Stabilization in my practices, stabilization in my life. What is it that I want to accomplish? And then sincerely doing it. Approaching it sincerely with devotion, with trust that things, whatever that I'm seeking, is bound to manifest, as long as I'm in tune with this. Sometimes it happens with me when the mantra goes, let's say, so Lord Ganesh would be confused. Who is he calling? So it shows so fast, just to get some numbers done. And sometimes in the malas, when you carry a mala and then you do this and you take and see how many are left. So all these practices, that simply means probably that practice has become a burden to me. So let us, we already have so many burdens in our lives, let us not make spirituality another burden, additional burden on us. Anytime spirituality becomes a burden, then probably we have gone the wrong way. We may keep on expanding our understanding, we may keep on practicing it with trust, faith, surrender, and automatically things will start. According to whatever capacity that we have, sometimes whenever a new mantra is shared and we are so enthusiastic, I'm going to do this, those 500,000, 100,000, and then it goes on for a very long period of 1 day or 2 days, and then it stops. And we think probably this is not for me. This is exactly why we need Ganesha, because we do not have that stability in our mana buddhi chitta ahankar. So, as we spoke on the Muladhara Chakra. Muladhara Chakra has 4 petals. Why it has 4 petals? What does it represent? And the presiding deity is Ganesha. Why it has 4 petals? Swadhisthana has 6. Why it has 6? There are reasons behind all of this. So why 4? You already have the answer now. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. That's what Muladhara Chakra is. The 4 petals, one is Mana, one is Buddhi, one is Chitta, one is Ahankar. And the presiding deity is Ganesha, also 4-faced Brahma. Brahma has 4 faces. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. So unless we invoke, unless we bring in these 4 forces of mind into balance, unless we stabilize these, no matter whatever we want to do, whatever we wish to accomplish, we may not get the desired results. So the practice of Ganesha helps us purify all these 4 aspects, 4 functions of mind. The practice of Ganesha mantras also helps us purify our actions. It strengthens our karma indriyas, our jnana indriyas, it gives them the right direction because he is the leader. If I pray to the leader, then naturally all the forces are in sync. If the leader is not pleased, if I have a company and there are groups of people and they raise a strike, they go for a strike, who do I talk to? The leader, the union leader. And who do I negotiate with? The union leader. If I am able to convince, if I pray in whichever way, then everybody else starts to work because they follow them. So in this way, again and again, we're reinforcing this concept that he rules all this. So when we invoke this energy within us, it helps us, it gives us a good direction, it stabilizes as well as strengthens. It weakens our weaknesses, it strengthens our strengths, it gives us a great direction. And all of that we should also be aware in our day-to-day life. Is it really happening? Am I really doing it? Am I also is my hands doing something better for the society, for where I'm living? Is my speech, are my legs, the entire body and mind, is it worth Is it contributing something towards the greater? Or the hands only wants to receive, I only want to get. Or the legs are only indulged in going, moving into indulgence, only in this direction. Or I'm only saying something which is not nice. In Yoga Sutras also, the first thing, ahimsa. So how do I say, how do I talk? When I talk, it not only affects me, it also affects the others. It not only affects the others, it also affects me. If I'm shouting, then it affects the others, of course, it also affects me. And at the same time, it affects the space. Where does sound go? Sound goes into space. So what are we contributing, what are we feeling through our speech into the space? Are we shouting? Are we using curse words? What is this space filled with? So all these 5 great elements, earth, water, air, fire, air, ether. Am I polluting air? I'm contributing towards air pollution? What is it that I'm offering to the fire element within me? What is it that I'm burning outside? Am I burning plastics? What is it that I'm offering to the fire outside? Am I burning people? Bombing? So I'm not in sync. Am I polluting water? Am I wasting water? I'm not in sync. Have I become a burden to earth? I throw garbage, or I produce more garbage, or I exploit the minerals, the resources of the earth. What is it that I'm doing? How my actions are in relation to the nature, in relation to the other, and in relation to myself. So the way I live my life, that does not become a burden to someone else, also it doesn't become a burden to myself. Ganesha stabilizes this, and Ganesha helps us getting there. It's not only I'm a burden to someone, I may be burden to myself because of my bad habits. So taking some time, sitting down, practicing these mantras through the form of japa, meditation, contemplation, it really helps to bring in all the forces within ourselves to balance, and thereby creates a solid foundation for all kinds of spiritual practices, as well as anything that we want, anywhere we want some form of stabilization. And Swami Veda has said it several times. When our seat has become firm, on our meditation seat, when our asana has become steady, balanced, stabilized, then it reflects in our life also. So this leads to emotional stabilization. And vice versa. When my emotions are steady, my posture would be steady as well. Thereby, then it reflects in our lives. My financial stability in relationships, and all of that. So even with this one thought of stabilization, firmness, grounding, we may be flying high with our success, or we may be sinking deep with our failures. But if we want to attain a state of stability, then these mantras work wonders. So Swamiji had mentioned yesterday, same time, same place. For some, it may be a little too much. Same time, same place, oh, you know what to do. This is what it is. At least we really need to be sincere, put some efforts to receive the desired results. If I have value for money, I will not say it's difficult to earn money. I will take above the table, under the table. I will exploit people because I value money. If I value anything in my life, I'm ready to commit to that. So I can ask myself a question. We all can ask, we can choose to ask a question, do I really value stability in my life? Do I really value the peace of my mind? Do I really value my mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar to be stabilized? Do I have value for that? If I have value for that, no matter what it takes, I will do it. If I don't have value for it, I may have the knowledge, I may have the necessary information, but probably I will not do it. I may do for some days, then I leave, and it's okay. Maybe I don't have value. If I have value for peace of my mind, I will not get angry. When I get angry, I lose my peace of mind first. Although it's easy to blame the other. Because of you, my life is hell. Like this default settings on the phones. We have default setting in ourselves. For my problem, someone else is responsible. The practice of Ganesha, it changes that, it shifts. For anything, any problem in my life, I am responsible, no one else. So we look within and see, okay, something somewhere has been destabilized, let me stabilize that. So we take full responsibility of our own sufferings. Then what practice of Ganesha would do? Miseries will come, but we would refuse to become miserable because we are stable. It's not that problems will not come, they will to anyone and everyone. But on the face of it, we would, because of our steadiness, we would go through it, grow through it rather. We will refuse to become miserable. Pain and sufferings will come, but we will refuse to form a personality, a painful personality within us. So we will not form personalities with respect to the situations, because there is steadiness, there is stability. So anything in life, whether it is in our material pursuits or in our spiritual lives, or in all form of our practices, it is extremely useful and essential to have the blessings of Lord Ganesha. And I'm sure that when as a community Swamiji has given this practice, when as a community, as a Sangha, we all do this, I'm sure that we would certainly be able to see the result, the manifestation of that in our own personal lives as well as in our entire Sangha, provided we have value for this. If I don't value, okay, I will receive all this information and that's it. That's when it's over. So whenever we feel, sense some kind of destabilization, then even if I'm not at my seat doing the practice of Ganesha, I can still invoke. And not necessarily only this, you can still invoke all our Guru mantras, there are so many others, the stuti. So okay, the stuti that Swamiji had shared yesterday is very, very powerful. Any emotions, if there is some kind of destabilization, we can just get back to that stuti. Pray to the Guru, pray to Gayatri for purifying our buddhi, and then go on. You can also choose to use this. And also, as a community, anytime a sense of bringing in a sense of Kalyana Mitra. So if I as an individual, I'm showing some kind of emotions which are not nice, which are not harmonious, all of you have the right to just tell me, Rabindra, this is some destabilization is happening. Then you are my real friend. And if I put something here, a tika, instead of here, if I put it here and I sit in front of you, and you say that, this is not placed in the right place, you should take it away, wash it, and then put it here. Then will you become my enemy? It's not placed in the right direction. The tika should be placed here. You will not become my enemy. You've just told me that it's not in the right direction. So as a community practice, as Kalyana Mitras, anytime you see any form of destabilization, and we can choose who do we trust, who are we completely open to receive those. Because we are not, most of the times we don't know our own actions, we are not able to evaluate and see what is happening. I may be angry and I probably have not noticed. Somebody else could say, the way you spoke or the way you behaved was not nice, not harmonious. I should be thankful to that individual who tells me this, who reminds me to go into that stability, the force of stabilization. Then I really know that, okay, this is why I'm praying for. This is what my practice is, to bring in that stability, stabilization in my life, to bring in that firm commitment, firmness, to walk on the path that leads to truth, and not to sway away or not to get distracted. So we can talk many things with respect to Ganesha, Ganapati, Vakratunda, and you would have, of course, you'd receive the mantras from Swamiji when he takes formally when he takes the sankalpa on the first, on Shivaratri. Then we start our practice. Also on the AHYMSIN website, we would upload the 1 year Sangha practice. This practice is for 1 year until the next Sangha gathering. We would upload that, and tomorrow Pierre would lead the pronunciation aspects, and Adhikariji would share some symbolism of Lord Ganesha and some mythological stories. So I would invite all of you to take this opportunity to sit down, contemplate. Let us allow ourselves to feel where is it that there is some kind of destabilization in our lives, and where is it that we really want this force of stability in our lives, and how do I direct this? And the more and more, as with everything else, the more and more we understand this, expand our understanding, talk amongst ourselves, be open to somebody that you trust, and work it out. Working together as a community also has great benefits. And being a Kalyana Mitra is part of the practice as well, where you are a friend on the noble path. You are a friend who is not afraid to sacrifice the so-called friendship relationship to protect that. Wait, stop, don't go into that direction. Maybe there is something which is not nice. Okay, you may not choose to go into this direction. This is not healthy. In our lives, we can have this. Then we are true to each other. Not necessarily if I am a friend, then whatever that friend does, I agree. Then I'm not a Kalyana Mitra. So, with this, let us sit quietly. Let us bring the session to a conclusion. And let us take some time to reflect, to contemplate on these 4 aspects, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, our karma indriyas, the pancha karma indriyas, organs of actions, hand, feet, mouth, etc. Then our sense organs, organs of sense perception, eyes, ears, taste, the sense of touch, etc. And just contemplate and reflect for any kind of stabilization. Where do we need more stability? And accordingly, just do a little self-evaluation, self-assessment, self-reflection. And we can collectively, individually take a commitment also to purify my actions, to purify my emotions, to purify our emotions, actions, and to invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha through the lineage, through the sage Ganaka and through the entire Himalayan lineage. We invoke, we pray to the Lord. Ganesha, Ganapati, Vakratunda, to guide us, to help us provide strength, to help us provide stability, in all pursuits of our lives. Through the blessings of the lineage, through the blessings of Lord Ganesha, let my organs of action express the divinity, the inherent divinity within me. Let my organs of sense perception express the inherent divinity within me. Let my antakarana, mana buddhi chitta ahankar, express the inherent divinity within me. Collectively, let us become the stations. Let us purify ourselves to such an extent that we become stations through which the divinity manifests in its fullest glory in our actions. You can choose to chant these mantras mentally or along with me. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. The other one. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll get ready for the ashram prayers.